Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's Keys to Real Estate Success series. Today's webinar is about what I think really is one of the most important aspects of building successful real estate business, and that is a strong IDX and lead management solution. My name is Thomas Hyman. I'm the founder and CEO of Realty Partners here in Sarasota, Bradenton, Florida, and I've been in the real estate industry now for about 12, 13 years. Built a very, very successful team with the RE/MAX franchise many years ago before becoming a broker and starting my own business. And I went through an entire process of evaluating different IDX and lead management solutions for my own business for Realty Partners, and I've used a number of different solutions in the past. And my background is very strong in the technology side. Prior to getting into real estate, I was somewhat of an internet and e-commerce pioneer and started a number of technology companies. And I've always been very technology focused since then. So today I'm going to share with you what I learned for myself, and I'm going to give you some resources and some ideas on what you can do for your business, some of the things to look out for as you evaluate different solutions for your business. And I'm going to touch base on some of the things that are really, really important for you to build a successful real estate practice. Now, just a quick plug to tell you about Realty Partners. Our mission is very, very simple. We're all about empowering agents to succeed at the highest level in their business, and we do that by providing the tools, resources, technology, and training necessary. And so again, as I was looking for the perfect solution to provide to our agents, I went through this process of evaluating the different technology solutions that are out there, and I'm going to share what I found with you. Now, let's take a look at what it takes to create real estate success in the 21st century, because a lot of things have changed, dramatically changed over the last 10 years. And you need to be aware of them and play towards it if you want to differentiate yourself and succeed. Consumers today are in the proverbial driver's seat. They have access to information that previously was owned by agents. And consumers can go Google for things. They can go to Zillow, they can go to Trulia, they can go to Realtor.com. If they Google for properties or for information, they're bound to land on different agents' websites. And so all of that information that in the past used to be owned by the agents is now accessible to the consumer. And I remember when I built my team about 10, 12 years ago, one of our selling proposition was that if you work with us, we get you access to all of this information, to these secret home hunter searches and so forth. Today, everyone has access to it, so it's no longer a value proposition, and consumers are demanding to have access to that information on their own terms, when they want it, where they want it, how they want it, and 40% plus now are doing it using mobile devices, smartphones, tablets, and so forth. Also, consumers don't want to be sold, and they're putting up a wall. It's just kind of like walking in a store and a clerk walking up to you and say, "Hey, can I help you?" "No, I'm just looking." Or somebody walking into a car sales showroom. And the same thing is true with real estate. So consumers don't want to be sold, but the same token, you do have to use psychology properly in order to be able to capture consumers and convert them. Also, consumers have more choices than ever before, and their attention span is shorter. They're getting targeted with more and more marketing messages than ever before. Today, literally, consumers are having an attention span anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes, and then they're moving on. So you have to be able to capture that and capitalize on that. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more when we look at these different solutions, because I'm going to take a look at a number of the top IDX solutions that are out there with you. Now, all of that being said, some things never change because people are people, and the first one is that most consumers, it's about 80% or so, will work with the first agent that they meet. That's very, very important. Consumers will hit half a dozen different websites. They might even talk to a bunch of different agents, but they will work with the first agent that they get together with face to face, and that's the first agent that they're going to, that's the agent that end up buying the home with. And still, most consumers do not use their past agent. I mean, let's face it. I would say if you take away the first-time home buyers, then obviously everyone else has bought and sold the property before, but the vast majority of them does not use their last agent. Some of them don't do it because they hated the experience, but most of them do not use their past agent because they don't know who that person is. They don't stay in touch with them. The agent doesn't stay in touch with them. And what we as real estate agents have to come to grips with is that we are about as high on the consumer's priority as the sales rep in a store at the mall that the consumer goes in and does a transaction with. So, we're just a salesperson, a service provider. We're helping them, then they're moving on. And, we're not best friends. We're not, their family. And so unless we have a process and a system in place to ensure that we can create lifetime customers, it's not going to happen. And I will talk about that more in future Key to Real Estate Success webinar sessions. Now, let's take a look at the biggest challenges here in creating success in the 21st century. Challenge number one is obviously attracting consumers, lead generation. I've asked agents over and over again, what's the most important thing that you need? What do you want more than anything else? And it's lead generation. Number two, the challenge is to keep their attention and to keep them coming back. Again, attention span is very, very short. And so, somebody might come to your website, might go, they're searching for something in Google, they get, the top 5 or 10 links, and they just click on it and go to it and check it out, and click on the next one, go to it and check it out. So how can you, capture them and then cause them to keep coming back? It's very, very critical, because if you have the best information out there and they go to it and look at it and then move on, that doesn't help you one bit. Number three, you have to be able to convert them and make them a customer client. And then number four, you have to create a lifetime customer. So those are really the 4 key challenges in building a successful real estate business. And I'm going to focus today on number 1 and 2. Maybe 2 and 3 kind of string together, but primarily number 1 and 2, and most of the time on number 1. The formula is very simple. It's true for any business out there. You got to get them, find out what they want, and give them what they want. You got to get them as to lead generation. Find out what they want. That's very, very important. Part of step 2, you have to be able to see what works, what doesn't work, what are they looking for, and then you got to give it to them and turn them into a customer. So let's meet the challenge. The biggest of them all is to attract consumers, quality lead generation. Very, very few top agents are wasting leads, and so I hallucinate that you're not one of those agents that is having dozens of leads coming in every week and you just don't bother following up on them. Odds are that no matter how successful you are, you would like to attract more leads. And you may be doing right now 20, 30, 40, 50 deals a year. Well, you know what? There are agents that are doing 200, 300, 400, 500 deals a year, and there are some agents that are doing 1,000 or 2,000 deals a year. And it all boils down to lead generation and attracting consumers, and ideally having something that you can scale up, that's scalable. In other words, if you can do something that generates 50 transactions a year, if you can double that and do twice as much, you should be able to generate twice as many leads, convert them, and have twice as many closings. So what are your options? Number one, great option is referrals. The challenge with referrals is that you really can't scale it, and it takes a long time to cultivate. So you're not going to build a 200-300 transactions a year business if you're just going to focus on referrals. Now, as time goes on, obviously, the more transactions you do, the more satisfied, thrilled, raving fan customers you create, the more referrals you're going to get, provided you have a system in place to ask for referrals. But it's not the strongest lead generation method out there. Second option is buying leads, and that's really where most agents are gravitating to. And truth to be told, because most agents are focusing on buying leads or as a way to generate leads, the top IDX solution providers, even though they're really not in the business of selling leads, are using that, the lead generation, as an angle to capture your interest. But by buying leads, I mean going to places like Zillow, Trulier, House Values, and subscribing to their lead services. Most of these leads, Realtor.com, the same thing, are absolutely horrific. Many times they're bad leads, fake leads, old leads, and even if they're good and fresh leads, they're usually provided anywhere from 5 to 10 agents simultaneously. So these are not leads that are exclusive to you. And when those leads registered and signed up, they signed up at a Trulier site or Zillow site or Realtor.com. They didn't come to your website. They don't know who the heck you are or who your business is. And so they're going to get, these phone calls from different people following up, and it's just brutal. And the conversion rates on those leads are very, very poor. And if you really do your math, they're extremely expensive, and you can't really scale it that much either, because there are only so many shared leads that you can buy from any given lead source. The last or third option is to generate traffic and then convert that traffic and capture leads. And that is really the most important thing that you need to focus on, because when you generate traffic and drive it to your system, to your site, first of all, that is traffic exclusively to you. They come to your site and register. They didn't register with 10 other websites. This is a lead now that's exclusive to you. And number two, you can scale it. So in other words, if you have a certain budget per month to buy keywords, then you're able to increase that budget. So if you're spending $500 on keywords right now, odds are you could spend $1,000 or $1,500 and drive 2 or 3 times as much traffic. Obviously, there's a limit based on the size of your market. If you're in Atlanta, Georgia, you obviously can drive a lot more traffic than if you're in Venice, Florida, or Sarasota, Florida. But still, you have some way to ramp up the traffic. So this is really a 2-step process. And it's very much technology driven, and you got 2 components. You get the first component, which is to generate traffic, and then you have the second component, which is to convert that traffic into leads, to capture that traffic and capture leads. So let's talk briefly about generating traffic. When you talk about generating traffic, really the most effective way to do it is using pay-per-click managed keyword advertising, and you have to become very, very specific at this. For instance, let's say we're in Bradenton and Sarasota, Florida. I wouldn't want to put something like Sarasota real estate for sale and buy a link, and when they click on it, they go to my main first homepage. That is just not specific enough. People that are successful with pay-per-click campaigns are very, very specific. So you may have, Lakewood Ranch Country Club pool homes for sale or something like that, and driving very targeted traffic to then very targeted landing pages within your IDX website. Now, there are 2 ways you can handle this. If you're very geeky and you're good at this stuff and you really master it, you can set up your own Google AdWords account, and you can experiment with the different keywords and monitor it and manage it and see how well it works, and create all the custom links and drive the traffic to those links, and use Google Analytics and see what you're getting, and see what your actual cost per lead is and so forth. But for most real estate practitioners, that really doesn't make any sense. And ideally, you want to outsource this to someone else. And the top IDX and lead management solution providers are actually doing that for you. The service that they provide is a two-step service, so to speak. They provide you with the IDX lead capture solution, and they drive traffic to your website, and they charge a basic fee for the website solution for the IDX lead capture machine, and then they have a budget for keywords, and you can start out with $500 a month and then add up and go up to $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 per month and generate, subsequently more leads. But if you want to do it yourself, you're probably in for a lot of trial and error, and it's very, very time consuming. So it probably doesn't make sense for you to do it yourself, but you could try it. And the nice thing also, if you use a website provider that offers this type of marketing, you can always generate your own custom leads, custom search links, and drive traffic to them and do your own pay-per-click marketing on top of it. The second part is, and I'm going to spend most of the time on this right now, is the mechanism to capture leads, the IDX lead generation website that will capture and convert. And that is probably the single most important component to your business. And I want you to hear me right now. You're in business for yourself. You don't have a storefront. You don't really need a desk at an office. Most of the business is done online nowadays. So you need to have a business presence online that is effective and that works. And just as you would not use a 50-year-old typewriter, but you need to have a laptop or a computer and a scanner and things like that, you also need to have adequate tools to do your business properly on the internet, and that includes an IDX lead generation website solution. So let's take a look at the checklist. Here's what I'm looking for, and these are the musts, and a perfect solution will have many, many more items than that. The first one is you got to be able to capture interest. It has to capture interest and convert to registration. So the website has to be structured, the whole system has to be structured with only one purpose in mind, and that is to get that information and capture and register the lead. Because if somebody comes to your website, does a search, find all that great information about a property, and then moves on, it doesn't do you any good. I cannot tell you how many agents have crappy websites, and they have a buddy or someone that's working with them, and they find someone that really has an awesome website, but they don't have any kind of lead capture mechanism, and so they're just using that website to do the searches and then having their buddy write the contract, when you could have captured that person and shown them how much more value you can bring to the table and probably gotten the business. So the second step is that you really want something that gathers qualifying details during the registration process. Once they make that commitment to sign up, at this stage, you're most likely to get additional information. So, do they need to sell? Are they pre-qualified for financing? What's their time frame? So a world-class solution is going to gather that information as opposed to just their name and an email address. You want to have a solution that presents strong and fast content to the visitor. Strong content meaning not just the basic IDX information that comes from the MLS, but also about schools and neighborhoods and other stuff that people are looking for, and you want things to load quickly. You want to have instant notifications to the team via email, SMS text messaging, mobile applications ideally, so that you can literally be aware within seconds that somebody is on the website. Statistics have proven, and if you sent me an email at the end of the presentation, you have my email address, I will email you a link, but there have been studies done with online sales and measuring the time frame from the time that somebody registered and the time that somebody called that person, and the difference between calling within the first 5 minutes and calling within the first 30 minutes is literally a 10-fold response. So your odds of generating business, if you call them within the first 5 minutes, is 10 times as great as if you call them within 30 minutes. So in the perfect scenario, you want to call them while they're still looking at your website, and the only way you can do that is if you're instantly notified of the person the second they registered. You also want to have a connection to a strong back-end lead management system. Just capturing the information and getting an email with their information, and then it falls into some kind of vortex or abyss, or you have to struggle and figure out and manage the follow-up yourself, or manually key it into a top producer or some other application, isn't going to cut it. You need to have a strong back-end lead management system that gives you intelligence about that visitor and any future visits and so forth. You need to have strong communications tools for the agents in the back end. You got to be able to send emails, SMS messages, mobile notifications, and so forth. And those are all keys that you need to have in a strong lead management solution. So let's take a look at possible providers. The first one is your iFrame or frame solution offered by the MLS, by your local board, and that's free. So if you're with your local realtor association, your local MLS service, they'll give you a code, a snippet that you can put into your website. It's like a frame, and you can frame your MLS, basic MLS search, and then if somebody registers, they go into your quote-unquote CRM that the MLS offers, which is better than nothing, but it's far from an ideal solution. The next step are these lower-end solutions, and a la mode Agent X sites, for example, and I've had those before. They're $400, $500, $600. They have very, very basic IDX functionality. Yes, you get connected to the IDX. You can search by the city and the zip code and bedrooms and price and whether it's a home or a condo, and that's pretty much it. And there's very basic lead registration ability. So these are really low-end, down and dirty IDX websites that are made to look pretty, but really aren't very effective. It's kind of like taking a let's just say a super low base model car and trying to take it to a Formula One race. The next level are mid-range providers. Real Estate Webmaster, for example, is one, realestatewebmaster.com, or you can Google it. Now, their solution, they're really more strongly at the front-end management, and I've used them for many years in the past. They provide great custom sites. You're looking at anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, depending on how fancy you want to get. Their weakness is the back end, so they don't really have the lead management system plugged in. IDX Broker is another one. IDX Broker is really a plugin for WordPress sites. So if you're a web developer designer, you can use IDX Broker. It's only $300-400, like a plugin, like a theme that you can plug into your website. But if you're not a web developer, because you have to design your own WordPress website, then you're looking at a lot more, and I priced it. There are some companies out there that are offering basic themes for $300-400, which are really crap. I looked at one website I'm going to show you in a second, Excellence Realty, which is very, very nice, and that they paid about $5,000 in software development time for that. Now, what you're going to see is IDX Broker has limits as to what you can search for, and also they have a very weak back-end lead management system. Then you got high-end solutions, and if you look at the mega agents or mega teams that are doing 400, 500, 600, 700, 1,000 transactions a year, they're using these type of solutions. And there's really only 4 or 5 providers out there. There's Tiger Lead. Tiger Lead, I'm going to show it to you. They have an excellent back-end lead management system, but the front is very weak, and you'll see. We have Boomtown ROI. Boomtown ROI, if we weren't using the solution that we're using right now, Boomtown would be my second choice. They have a very strong front end and back end, but they're still missing many of the features of the solution that I decided on at the end. There's AgentJet and Zerpal, which are two new kids on the block, so to speak. And then there's Commissions Inc., which is the company that we chose in the end. And price-wise, they're all about the same. You're really looking at $2,000 to $2,500 to start, and then as you crank up your pay-per-click budget, it's going to drive up the pricing on that. Some of them, like Zerpal, you don't really get to own any of your leads, which is a problem. You don't want to be with a provider where you're totally at the whim and mercy of them. You're subscribing to their site, and they don't really have a long-term track record. And if something happens, you not only lose your website, but you also lose your entire, intelligence, your entire inventory of leads and so forth, and that could be very, very costly. So Commissions Inc., for example, did not do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now some of these providers. Actually, I'm going to go through all of these here and show you firsthand what the differences are and what you want to look out for. So the first one here is IDX Webmaster, and IDX Webmaster is like I said, a plugin for WordPress. It's fairly inexpensive. Here's a website, so not IDX Webmaster, idxbroker.com, and you can go to that website and just cruise around and see what they have. I have a website here for Excellence Realty.com that did a very good job with that IDX solution. This is the solution that I told you is $5,000. That's what that company paid for it. I actually tracked down the design firm that did it, and you can search by zip, you can search by property type, but notice that you have homes and condos, so you cannot separate between homes and condos. So if you wanted to only search for condos in Sarasota, you couldn't do that. You got your price, minimum, maximum, you got your bedrooms and your bath, and then under advanced search options, you can search by different cities, and again, it's just homes and condos. So you get very limited ability to search, and that's a big factor right there, because you want to be able to set up custom searches. If I wanted to set up a search for a specific subdivision or condominiums in a specific subdivision, I couldn't do that with this interface. Now, let's just take a look at some of the properties, and I clicked through this here, and one thing that they also, when you look at it here, it's just very basic information. It's basically the listing information out of the MLS with a little map down here, and then you can ask for more information from the broker or the realtor. And I clicked through it, and I pulled up many different pages, and it didn't trigger any kind of forced registration, which is a big no-no. You want to have forced registration on the first property view, and I'll tell you when I get to it why. But so this is what we have with respect to IDX Broker. So this is the kind of solution you can put together. The next application is TigerLead. Now, TigerLead is a great solution at the back end. They've been around for a long time. They do use territory, so they may or may not be available in your market. And the main thing with TigerLeads is that the back end is strong, but the front end is very weak. And we have one agent here locally in Sarasota, Nikki Conway, who's doing very well, and she's using TigerLeads. And so it's a pretty basic looking search site. Now here we can search by location, neighborhood, property style, single family, condominium. So you have a little bit more functionality here. When I look at the properties, I looked at about 10 different properties. I did not get presented with a forced registration. I think you can specify that in the back end. And Nikki, for some reason, obviously didn't put in a forced registration. Now the details here, we got photos. So it's a pretty basic presentation here. You know, nothing really too fancy. So it has a great back end, but honestly, I'm not thrilled by it, and it's cost just as much as Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or any of the other ones. Now this is Boomtown ROI, and they have an excellent product. The front end is very, very nice. The back end, there are some things that Boomtown does not do that I really love, and that really relates to the intelligence gathering and using the psychology in the lead generation that I will show you. Here's a website of a broker in Nashville that is using Boomtown. You know, here you can just type anything in here. You can put, you know, price, bedrooms, and under more options here, you can search by square foot, acres, year built, garage spaces, how long it's been on the site, some key popular features here, and under type here we can, you know, select single family home or manufactured home, mobile home, condominium, townhomes, and so forth. So it's a lot more advanced than you know, for example, IDX Broker, and I guarantee you IDX Broker is 100 times more advanced than you know, your plugin or going with a la mode Agent X sites. When you click on a property, let's go over here, find one that has some photos. You have a you know, a map here. Click on full details. And this one actually made me register. So let me go ahead and sign out of here, because I just want to show you what the process looks like when I look at multiple homes. Okay, so on the second home, it'll ask me for the registration, and Tony Tester, testing@test.com. And you know, if you're going to test other applications, you know, be courteous and put something in here that will let them know immediately that this is a test submission. So we had the first name, last name, email address, and phone number as a password, and that was pretty much it. And there was a box on there: do you want a loan officer to contact you for financing options? And then we go here. You can save it, print flyers. You have some exterior, interior information. Suggest what you also might like, neighborhood snapshot, and then you can send, you know, information to the agent. So that is Boomtown, and again, I think it's a very good solution, but you can do better than that. But it's something worth looking at. Agent Jet is a newer kid on the block, and I've not been able to get an actual live website from someone. Even though I went through the demo, I had an appointment with them and went through the demo, and the front end was limited in the search detail that you could use, and the back end was okay. Zerpal, very, very, very high pressure sales tactic, really not forthcoming with a lot of detailed information, very rude people. If you do a search on the internet, if you Google Zerpal customer service or experience or Zerpal review, you'll find it yourself. So I really cannot give much of a opinion there. Supposedly they track behavior of people and convert them automatically, but when I try to dig deeper, I really didn't get very much. And then the last but not least is Commissions Inc., which is an awesome solution. I used to be part of the Craig Proctor organization when I ran my team. A lot of the Craig Proctor people went and started a separate organization called NAEA, National Association of Expert Advisors. All of these guys are using Commissions Inc. Commissions Inc. really was created by top leaders in the real estate industry, and I would say 2 out of 3 of the top agents are using Commissions Inc. And the reason is that it has a lot of intelligence built in. The company is continually looking to add more value to the product, so there are continuously advances added to it. And the pay-per-click portion is not padded at all. In other words, if your budget is $500 or $1,000 a month, they spend every single penny of that, so there's no added fees or cost for the pay-per-click marketing, which with all the other companies, you really don't know, and odds are they're going to take a piece of the pie. So let me show you our website here, which is the Commissions Inc. website, and notice that it's a non-branded site really, because it is designed to generate leads and nothing else. So it's not about promoting, how wonderful Realty Partners is. This is about driving traffic here and generating leads. There are pre-configured quick searches, and you can create your own quick searches by just creating a search and then copying and pasting the URL at the top. You can search by pretty much anything here, or you can use communities, counties, schools, and so forth. Bedroom, bathroom, price, maximum price, property type, condo, duplex, manufactured home, single family, and so forth. And then you have even more search options. I didn't find any IDX provider that had more search options than Commissions Inc. They basically take the entire IDX feed and pretty much make everything available to you. And if there's something in the IDX feed that isn't available and you want it, they will add it. So this is very, very, very powerful if you want to build custom searches. I'm thinking about custom searches for, condominiums on the beach that allow dogs, for example, or homes on the water that have a dock. Things like that, where you can then do very targeted marketing to those people. The registration process is absolutely awesome. And again, it's on the first view. And I cannot stress this enough. One of the things that I learned in marketing a long time ago is that it doesn't matter one bit what I like. The only thing that matters is what works out in the marketplace. And so what Commissions Inc. does is continuously testing different things and determine really what works and what doesn't work. But in direct marketing, you need to capture people when you have their attention right away. You don't want them to be spending time on your website in hopes that maybe they're going to fill out a form for some information on a property that they like. Odds are the first thing that they look for, they're not going to end up buying. They're not going to like it. It's kind of like open houses. People that even if you capture a buyer through an open house, they're not going to buy that house. They're going to buy something else. So you want to capture them right away. And take a look at this. I mean, this is the only company that does that. So I'm going to put in here Tony Tester, and I'm going to put in Tony at testing.com. I'm going to put in the phone number 941-251-0020, and I'm going to click on continue my search. Now, I've already made a commitment to register, so it's going to ask me another question. Have you been pre-qualified for mortgage? Yes or no? Are you a first-time buyer? Yes or no? In how month do you plan to buy a home? Well, 1 to 3. And by the way, you always want to discount it. Usually if someone says 6 months, it's really more 3 months. If somebody says 12 months, it's really more like 6 months. But you get a general time frame here. And do you have to sell a house first? Yeah. So that would also be then a potential seller lead. I'm going to confirm. And one more. And by the way, there are only 3 screens of questions, and they tested it. 1 screen, 2 screen, 3 screens, 4 screens. How many do you gain? How many do you lose? 3 screens is the perfect median, so to speak. And so it's asking now, what's most important to you during the home search? Smoking hot home deals and distressed properties, or beautiful homes in popular communities, or top-rated school districts and safe neighborhoods, or comprehensive and detailed reports of any specific Lakewood Ranch district, since this is a property in Lakewood Ranch. And what this system is doing through these questions, do you have a house to sell? Because we asked, say no thanks. Through these questions, it is not only giving me as an agent more information about what this person is looking for, but also it is making a rough draft determination of their DISC model, D-I-S-C model, which is a top-line personality profile, what kind of personality they are, and the system will kick off a drip campaign, an email drip marketing campaign for about a week, that has different messages, and a D personality profile gets different messages than a C personality profile. And these are all email messages designed to trigger emotional responses that get the person to pick up the phone and call you, the agent. Because odds are, even if you get the lead notification instantly, many times you don't communicate with them, you don't connect with them, you don't catch them. So this is a way to trigger them to call you, and once you make the connection, you can disable the drip campaign. Now here you have links to street views and so forth. You got your general information that everyone has, your location. It actually has school information here with a full school report, information about the building, about the land, rooms, association fees, very important. And then down here, you can go ahead and schedule a showing right out of the thing. And the person is now logged into the system. And another thing that's brilliant about the Commissions Inc. system is that once the person is registered, even though they pick their password, which is their telephone number, they'll never be prompted for it, because when they get an email from the system with new properties that were found, new searches that were found, when they click on it, it'll automatically log them back into the system. So they'll never ever have to remember what their login information is, which is a major pain in the neck with a lot of these other sites where you register, but then next week you don't remember what your information was to log into the system. So that's Commissions Inc. And I'm going to post a link for some more information in the comments section. And so we actually selected that solution for our brokerage, and all of our agents are provided with an account, a login on Commissions Inc. and their own subdomain website, so they can do all of their own lead generation and all of their own searches and custom search links and so forth with that. So it's like getting a $2,000 plus application for free as part of the service. But obviously, odds are you're not with our company. So if you're looking at IDX solutions, there really is nothing better out there, bar none, than Commissions Inc. Now let's take a look at the next challenge, which is to keep their attention and convert them. And effective lead management really is the key here. And you got to be able to have an up-to-date history on the lead. You got to be able to sort, segment, prioritize, etc. You have to be able to do lead scoring. How hot is the lead based on different activities and actions taken. You got to be able to see, what they looked at, and you have to be able to communicate effectively via email and SMS. And you want to have an effective mobile solution. So within Commissions Inc., again, I looked at all these different applications, and the back-end lead management really is top of the line, unmatched with Commissions Inc. And I'm going to show you real quick just on our own system here. I'm going to go ahead and log into our backend system just to show you. And I'm sorry, I'm doing this from home, so my internet connection is a little bit slow here. Okay, so here obviously is the lead that just came in now. And one thing that you can see right here is that it verified that this is a good phone number, and it verified that this is a bad email address. Okay, so you can see here right away, you know, how hot is this lead. We can see where the person came from, directly from the website, as opposed to other leads that came from Google. Favorite city, what they're looking at, which is based on the first property that the person looked at and registered for. Time frame, how long ago, last touch, nothing yet. Here with older leads, you can see when they were last touched. We can see how many searches have they done, and how many properties did this person look at, and you can actually go ahead and click on that, and it will bring up the properties that this person looked at and the searches. Now here's the agent that it's assigned to. Now if you go, let's drill down deeper where we have you know, someone here, for example, that had 15 property views. We can see exactly, you know, when did they look at it. We can also see how many visits did somebody make back to the property, to the website. So for example, here this person did you know, 4 visits. And you can drill down even further by clicking on the person's detail, and you can see all of the detailed information here about the person. On the disc model, they're an influencer, so they're an I. We can see notes here. We can see a complete history of any time that the person came and looked at something, what they did, communication history, and so emails that were sent, total alerts that were sent, how many property views, how many saved searches, and of course you can go into the back end and create additional searches, customize searches, yada yada yada. We have a pipeline here, so you can check off what stage are they in. So and you have an endless way to sort and filter. You can apply tags and so forth. So it really is an awesome, awesome, awesome backend solution, and I could go over it for, you know, hours. And actually, we have separate training videos just on the backend. But these are all key things that the system does. We can send SMS messages to people. We can send SMS broadcasts to all of our you know, prospects in a certain area. We can do email blasts to people. Commissioning has actually 2 mobile applications, one for the agent where you get your lead alerts, and you can do everything on your mobile application that you can do on the website. But then there's a separate mobile app for the home seller. And it works very similar to the Realtor.com app. I mean, you could be standing in front of the house for sale and just push your little navigation button where it locates you, and it finds the information about the property, and they can contact you and request more information. It's absolutely amazing. And again, they're adding to it continuously. They recently launched an application, a dollar application that you can activate, where not only are you being sent immediately the information about the lead when they register, but it actually calls the lead and calls you and connects the call, so you're literally talking to the person within 2-3 minutes of them registering on the lead. So these are the kind of really high-end you know, solutions that are a must in a effective IDX application. Again, when you have an IDX solution, the idea is not just to have a great web page that people can go to and search in order to find properties, but you are looking for something that can be used to generate business. So it has to have a great search interface with great information that they like to use, combined with a great and effective registration tool that will get them to register and that will give you some more information about them, along with a great back-end system that not only communicates with the lead on a consistent basis, sending them property alerts when new things match their search criteria, etc., etc., but also a great tool for you to work in the back end so things don't fall between the cracks. You can schedule follow-ups, you can put in notes, and so forth. So again, my highly recommended top solution would be Commissions Inc. There are a number of other ones available as well. They're all in the same price range, right about $2,000 to start. And if you have more questions, I invite you to send me an email. I'm also going to open up a short Q&A here. If I can figure out how to get this to work. This is the first time we're using the feature here. I just opened up a group chat window, so if you want to post a message, you can. But if not, you can just post below the video or below the event on our Google Plus page or on YouTube, and I'll be happy to respond. Also, please feel free to follow me on Twitter or send me an email, and I'll be happy to share with you what I've learned. We're going to have these events on an ongoing basis moving forward every Thursday. So I'm going to do a hangout here every Thursday on our Google Plus page, and we're going to talk about different things that are critical and key to building a successful business in the real estate industry. And if you're local here in the Sarasota Manatee area, drop me a line. If not, shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for watching the video. And we're going to promote the video out through social media, so hopefully we'll get a lot of people to look at that. My name is Thomas Hyman. I'm the founder and CEO of Realty Partners. And please follow me on Twitter at Twitter handle Thomas Hyman. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.